Hi everybody, I hope all of you are fine. Uh, it is really becoming increasingly impossible to write down all the concerns raised by my friends, my FB friends, and by my readers and other uh, journalists and politician colleagues. So that video message is one way out to address all their concerns, though the whole talk sometimes becomes a bit, a sort of amalgamation of too many topics. Uh, Obviously, the time constraint is there. I do have my own concerns, family concerns. I have to write a lot for Associated Press of Pakistan every day. Firstly, I'll come up with a happy note that Pakistan armed forces are determined to tackle the problem of terrorism within Pakistan, and even today there was a meeting headed by Chief of the Army Staff, General Raheel, with a resolve that they will continue with army operation against terrorists inside the largest province of Pakistan known as Punjab. And during past few days, situation was under control here all over Pakistan. In Kohat district, it is ideal in rest of the Pakistan too. There was no major incident after the Lahore carnage. That cowardly attack on women and children in Iqbal Park has infuriated the public and the armed forces as well. Still, we cool-headedly, we all are pursuing to find out the exact culprits. And so, in brief, there is no major danger of any misadventure while assessing while analyzing the whole situation and while determining the exact culprits. Our system, we are a third world, we are a developing country, and we don't we don't have the facilities which Scotland Yard is having, or FBI is having, and we don't have that level of training here to our officers and men of different intelligence agencies, and many of them in police services are being trained by Scotland Yard and were being taken to United States of America for the training. Uh, Obviously, we all hope that some very positive results will be here too, and all those who are responsible for all these nasty things will be brought to justice soon. Well, there is another very funny concern of some of the friends, and that is regarding Panama leaks. Uh, so far, the Prime Minister of Iceland, he has resigned. Media reports are reflecting all this, that here in Pakistan, our Prime Minister has been also found involved in offshore companies and having offshore companies. Well, the whole issue was raised by Madam Hillary Clinton during her campaign speech. And she's a brilliant one. She came up with the idea that I will tax those American offshore companies which are in tax-free zones and are not paying anything to the homeland. And she wanted to facilitate students and uh, were in a mood to take other welfare measures by taxing the offshore companies. And from here, the whole thing was ignited. And then Panama leaks came. Obviously, the issue is in Pakistan and Iceland, even Great Britain now is involved. The Prime Minister of Great Britain is involved. So here the opposition guys, they are also involved in it. The Prime Minister and that spouse of Benazir Bhutto, Mohtarima, and both are having offshore company here. The Prime Minister is having offshore companies. His children are having offshore companies. And their critics, they say that this is immoral and illegal too, because to take out money of such a large scale to establish an offshore company, one needs permission from State Bank of Pakistan, and the amount is if too great, too big, then the cabinet permission is required. And there is a brilliant guy in PTI, Asad. He came up with this argument on a private TV channel. So it's a moral as well as legal issue here, because those people who want to be leaders and want to sit in public offices uh, and to want to win the trust of the public, want to tax the public after coming into power, if by themselves they do not pay any taxes and do invest in offshore companies without meeting the legal requirements in the country, that puts them really in a very difficult situation once the leaks are there. And that will some of the political parties, PTI guys, they are saying that their chief Imran Baijan is of the view that he will stage another sit-in near Raiwan. And I hope that if there is any situation, if Prime Minister Sahab is still in power, he will exercise restraint and there will be no direct shootout on demonstrators, and everything will be done in a very peaceful manner. Actually, I mean, it's a moral and legal issue. So the legal aspect, its legal aspect can be taken care by that commission which Prime Minister already has said that there will be an independent commission who will look into the whole thing, and if he is really guilty. And the opposition is asking for a in-service judge, and he is trying to hire someone, a retired judge, to head the commission. And no retired judge is accepting the slot of that proposed commission to deal with the Prime Minister's offshore companies issue. So it's really a very serious issue here, and I hope something. I mean, people, they come and go. Pakistan is a brilliant nation, 1,800 million people. We have educated people who can handle the country, normal ones. People can, by themselves, as they do in United States of America, in Great Britain, in rest of the Europe, people, they do take a great interest in their political life as a nation, as a member of a nation. Each individual also takes a great interest and also invest in their respective political parties in terms of giving funds and all that, and in terms of time too, because they do elect off and on. There are within the party elections, and I hope we will be able to come up with all this, which is required by law here in Pakistan, as I have stated earlier, that we have that clause 82, Article 82 of the Constitution, which provides for political organizations. We are supposed to have multi-party system, and constitutionally speaking, and our parties shall be funded by our own people, those who are enrolled as members of respective political parties, their respective political parties. So hopefully we'll all be able to grasp this, and all those dogmas and old theories that by creating fear in public and by using tactics of harassment and intimidation, public can be compelled to vote for those hereditary political institutions. Those are no more workable. Recently, in by-elections of Karachi 2 days ago, there was less than 7% turnout of voters. So I think that Election Commission shall also determine some minimum ratio of voters to decide the seats, that victory of the candidates. That is again a very tricky issue, and I think that the Parliament is a right place to decide all these things. We journalists, we can just point out. So I hope there will be no damage to the property here, and there will be no big agitation, and obviously if the offshore companies issue is being tackled in a legal manner, that will be much better. And that disinterest of the people in electoral process, that shall be, I mean, it's I have to go into details in that political party's issue, because once you work as a party leader and your team work to involve the 1,800 million people in your party affairs, as members of your party, if you try to enroll them in a decent way, I mean, nobody will come through the way which is prevalent. I mean, in government offices, those funny guys, especially of Jamaat Islami, they push their fellow officers to join Jamaat Islam by stopping their salaries and doing all nasty things to them. This is nonsense. I mean, you cannot go into the heart of anybody. People might say apparently that, okay, I'm with you. but you'll never, nobody can uh, make them move towards polling station at the polling day, or even if they are being moved to the polling station, you cannot push them to vote for you. So it is useless to harass or intimidate. And another major point is that people used to vote for the people, for the leaders here in Pakistan too. Let me tell you, even before partition in United India, there was a leader. His name was Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a brilliant advocate, very fair, honest, trained by Britishers. In a British culture, you cannot be unfair or unjust. Uh, he had accomplished his education from there, and he was equally liked by Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, all other minorities. So, in pre-partition era, Muhammad Ali Jinnah was not yet Qaid-e-Azam. He was just a practicing lawyer, and everybody went to his home, and the procession was led by Muslim elders, along with the nomination papers and everything, for the slot of mayorship of Bombay. And when Muhammad Ali Jinnah came out to meet the procession, and they requested him to sign these nomination papers so that he can be elected as mayor of Bombay. And everybody was there. People of all religions, not only Muslims, everybody was there. So that was a character, that is a leadership there. Actually, that is a leadership. And he was elected there as a mayor of Bombay. That was his first breakthrough in politics. So I don't have to repeat all these things. I'm not the only student of politics of Pakistan or politics of India. We have many, and even the children in schools, they're bound to learn all this in history books. That is a part of our curricula here in schools. This all history. We all know that. So our concepts shall be clear about the leadership. I mean, no nation adopts that lesser evil theory. That okay, we have four, five corrupt options. We'll just see that which one is the less corrupt than others. They reject them, and they're rejecting it. They're rejecting everything. Polling day, the output of ballot boxes is not very encouraging these days. There is awareness, and then international pressure is there, the UN pressure is there. Pakistani nation is no more hostage to 4 or 5 hereditary mafias of political nature. There are funny guys who used to, in Karachi especially, they used to take away the ID cards of people to make them sit and listen to their leader. Well, that is all nonsense. If you don't have that much ability to attract people, you should stay in home and keep yourself engaged with your children and wife. I mean, don't bother to disturb others. I mean, how you can become a leader by intimidating tactics and by uh, rascal-like attitude. It is really tolerance attitude of the bureaucracy that they even, I mean, some of the leaders here, big leaders which are being considered by the West, very big leaders of Pakistan, for their possessions, the bureaucracy used to be compelled to collect people from villages in trucks and buses and to bring them to receive a big leader. This is all nonsense. Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah never did this. They all went to his home by themselves. He never pushed anybody to do anything or to come and to recognize him as their leader or his or her leader. This is, you have to prove your leadership by your own qualities. And if you can't do this, do something else. I mean, Pakistan is an unexploited, open field for all sort of businesses, for all sort of industries. You can engage yourself in something really positive here. So that leadership complexes and all that, if someone is having no ability and is just having complex to be a leader, shall contact that psychologist, a nearby psychologist, to and, uh, and shall be kind to these people. They are really looking for someone, not the only one, but for a team, for a large team, to lead them out from this difficult situation that even people from USA, they are me. I'm still a journalist. I'm not a head of any political party. The idea is there. Elders are compelling me. Other friends are compelling me to have a political party and all that. And I know that uh, that demand is not that big that I shall start moving in that direction. And being a journalist, I can just highlight the issues and can provide some guidance too. Being a literate journalist, I mean, I can guide my people towards a right direction. I can be wrong. In a previous video of mine, I have declared McMahon Line as a border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Actually, that Durand Line is there between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and McMahon Line is between India and China. So I'm a human being. I can make mistakes, and obviously in this environment, even today, I had to offer Fatiha. General manager cousin of mine and the colonel cousin friend of mine, and all these are here together because father-in-law of one of our friends has breath his last uh, earlier this week. So we today we went together to offer Fatiha. It's a tradition here. It's a religious practice here. So when I get mixed up with the public, some of the attitudes are not very normal. So I do become a bit upset. I can make mistakes while while be in public and while be in a intimidating environment. Though it is really difficult to intimidate me, rather impossible. I never lived a life of underdog, and but I do assess myself too. I do try to avoid complexes if I feel that there is a complex. So I do have a full panel of psychologists. Most of them are my friends of university days. Not only they do my psychoanalysis, but of my missus, my children, we all sit together and they declare us normal every year whenever we meet, whenever it is required. So my way of doing things is a bit more sophisticated than many of my contemporaries, and I don't have to say this. People can well judge through my assertions, through my practices. I never disturb my people. I never push them. I never even incite them, uh, even if I am provoked. As you all know that I was provoked too much when when they told me that your honesty and your higher qualification is no more required here, and without any uh, pension, without any golden shake hand, my contract is, though the project is there, still there, and my contract is till the end of the project, but the misbehavior was there. So I had to leave everything. My salary was stopped, all that. And I was provoked because too many people were suffering. Those tribesmen were coming to me because they were in habit of getting favors from me. In my official position, I used to give them their rights. And they were in habit of receiving all that. And when they were not getting it, they were all coming to me, to my residence. And I used to tell them that this is the situation, and I can't help them anymore. But on from my personal pocket, whatsoever I can, giving something to eat to some poor people, or to make them drink tea or something which I can afford, because my family is good, is rich, but my personal income was hampered. Even Associated Press of Pakistan, from my 5 years payments are there remaining, and they're not paying it. Though I'm still doing that duty as a patriot, as a country lover. My patriotism is not of that type which is outmoded now, which is out of fashion these days. I do these things like video messages, I do write articles, even I straight write to APP whenever the need arises. So I'm serving my nation well, and but these problems are there. And once you don't have any personal income, then if your friend needs something from you, then you have to. Well, your family can look after your children, but you are not supposed to ask them to take care of your friends too. I buy myself for my personal needs. I'm always reluctant to uh, ask for money from my brothers or from my uncle. I meet my uncle, he's also very rich, and he has no son, and he has two daughters. I will inherit everything, being the eldest nephew. But I never ask for a single penny from him. So I'm living a very simple life, doing jogging and eating well, and wearing well too, whatsoever I'm having in my cupboard. That I'm not going for any high fashion items, which I used to go sometimes. Though I never went for high fashion items. I'm a very simple man, but my choice was always good. I used to buy and wear decent outfits. So but I'm not doing all these things. But I feel really so stressed when I'm unable to help, especially my friends. And so we have to make our lives useful to not only to our families, but to our friends, to our country fellows, rather to the whole of humanity. We are living in a very advanced world, in a very comfortable environment, but at the same time, challenges before us are also very big. Carbon emissions from India's venture of producing electricity with coal is raising the sea level. And if they continue with it, who knows that, I mean, still the symptoms are there. In a cohort-like place, we are having fog as we are near the sea. So the whole subcontinent is witnessing the symptoms. I mean, I hope that they will take notice of this situation and will strive to change that mode of producing electricity through coal. That is an immediate threat to humanity here in subcontinent. Then we have Kashmir issue and the terrorism issue. Then we don't have so much experts as leaders in India, Pakistan, or even in Afghanistan to take socio-economic measures so that people can. Here, situation is quite hopeful. President Mamnoon Hussain, he has, during his speech on 23rd of March, there was one new thing in that whole speech that I will take some measures to introduce welfare system here. So by this way we can reduce that chances of extremism, promotion of extremism here in Pakistan. And India shall also take some steps to control extremism through socio-economic methods. No armies can fight their country fellows forever. Our army men, our army officers are also part of our society. Okay? If their brothers, their families are suffering because of socio-economic reasons, they cannot, if they become extremists, they cannot kill everybody. Both in India and Pakistan. So the leadership shall realize this thing, that we must not put our armies in an awkward situation. We shall take sufficient measures, welfare measures to soothe down our populace. So by this way, obviously when you are living in a welfare state and again you are a terrorist and again you are doing something bad against the state, then nobody feels bad while taking action against you. But as we all know that some of the people are, while after coming into power, throwing everybody out from jobs. Well, that is not only offshore companies. During previous sit-in of a period of sit-in when Imran Bhaijan was sitting there in D Chowk, D Square of Islamabad, a colonel of Pakistan Army and another big bureaucrat, they came to me just to tell me that Mia Saab, whether he knows or not, his ADs are treating his personal guests from Turkey at expenses of Foreign Office of Pakistan. His business colleagues were entertained at expense of from the exchequer of this poor Pakistani nation. But there was no video or documentary evidence, and I said, okay, what maximum I can do is that I can send this to Associated Press of Pakistan. And you know that government agencies are also, I mean, our bosses, they always tell us that, okay, always be in favor of government, always. Though we are not loyalist of anybody, we are loyal to state and our constitution. We don't extend as being a journalist, being a citizens, being a literate citizens of Pakistan. We are just loyal to our constitution and the state. We damn care about the corrupts, whether they're enjoying the top slot or whatsoever. And they can't go against any. The mafia guys, there is they extend maximum. They stop our salaries, and some threats to our lives are there. So many journalists are killed, but we don't damn care about lives and all that. No Pakistani. God has created us in a situation that we are having big neighbors like India, China, and even Russia. Through Wakhan border, Wakhan strip, we are sharing borders with Russia too, with the old Soviet Union. So we don't. I mean, 1,800 million people. We had faced Soviets. They had retreated from Afghanistan. Our people have struggled along with Afghans, Arabs, Americans. And they had fought well, and finally Soviets were out from Afghanistan. So Pakistan, like Israel, is also surrounded by big names. Though our situations are different, I mean, Israel is, some commonalities are there. We are also backed by Americans, Israelites are also backed by Americans. And, our system is also bit ideological in nature. Though our electoral results, they always bring in that secular parties leadership into power, and same is the case with Israel too. And Egypt, they were having good relations with them, and we, my expertise in international politics, often whenever the questions are raised in army and other quarters that Israeli Mossad is involved, so I often tell them that once we are out from the control of extremist leadership, we might go for recognition of Israel, and to the extent to develop diplomatic relations with them. Once the major issues between Muslim world and Israel are being settled, and there were times when Israel has cooperated with Pakistan during war against Soviets. The weapon used to come from Israel to Pakistan. So I don't take pride in defeat of Soviets in Afghanistan and all that, because I always strive and do expect from diplomatic corps around the world, from every country, that they shall be able to settle down every issue through negotiations. Once we are having diplomatic corps, we are paying for them, for their existence as government servants. they shall come up with some results. They shall show their skills, their negotiation skills to resolve international disputes at UN level, at bilateral level, at regional level, and at multilateral level. These are the world peace depends upon the expertise of diplomatic corps and their clear concepts. Once they are being compelled to promote the agent of weapon sellers, and once if they are tuned like this, that they start ignoring their duty of making peace, of promoting peace through negotiations, then the armies come in, and for petty interest of some kickbacks for their leadership, if diplomatic corps starts, though the problem with diplomatic corps is that they are always dependent upon their executive heads. They move them like armies. They make them move to negotiate things, and if they stop doing this, diplomat cannot do anything by himself. No diplomat can initiate anything. No foreign minister even can initiate anything without clear directives from the executive head of his country. So we are really in a very dangerous world these days, because the tools available for promotion of peace are set aside. The rampant militarization of the whole world, even after the Second World War, lessons were not learned. The war industry was encouraged to make further theories like balance of power. I always laugh at equilibrium and balance of power concepts. Both concepts are nothing but a motivation behind arms race. We will never be able to achieve any balance of power, even if it is regional or at world level. But in the process, you will keep on stockpiling the weapons, you will keep on buying the weapons, you will keep on producing the weapons. So sometimes I think that balance of power and equilibrium concepts are just floated by those who are out to protect the interest of weapon producers. So I hope that my arguments and my responses to all of the friendly concerns will produce more light than heat, and I wish all of you all the best. With the wish that in my lifetime I want to see implementation of the ideas which were already prevailing. Most of these things which I have just highlighted are already prevailing there in certain minds. But now that I am in an advantageous position and mostly free to think on these things, I do spare time. That love for humanity is there. So I wish that in my lifetime I'll be able to see the implementation of ideas which are rational and which appeals the minds of international leaders, the rest of the podcast.